This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. What happened with Bitcoin? Why did it go up so much over the weekend? Who drove it up? Should you buy the dip? What coins should you buy the dip? We have a special like altcoin overtime for you where we're going to give you a sample of the types of things we're doing in the YouTube member area and in Patreon Platinum. So if you don't know what altcoins to look at, don't worry. We're going to give you a sample of what we do. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then tomorrow, we're going to have Toby, right, who basically predicted all of this, including the move to 120, and was giving everybody small altcoin picks when the market was still going down and everybody was giving up while writing a book about hackers versus hedge funds. All right, we're going to go over what's in Patreon Platinum because I got all kinds of great stuff for you. Today, we're going to do charts, right? Like I said, altcoin overtime, and we're going to go over all the relevant news and the hidden things underneath the news, right? All right, let's begin with Bitcoin, right? Obviously, how did we get here? What happened? Now, we have several issues. One, Michael Saylor bought at 112. Question, who sold him all that Bitcoin? Market makers, right? Guys who facilitate people buying and selling. Well, if Michael Saylor came in and took all their inventory and the market refused to go down, they couldn't get their inventory back. Michael Saylor always jokes about buying the high. So he'll call the market makers, he'll buy at the high, the market will go down, and the market makers will get their inventory back. Well, guess what? Mike bought at 112, and whoever is, buying and selling Bitcoin on behalf of people, like whoever comes to them and go, hey, you got any Bitcoin? Their answer can't be no. It can't be no. So they had to go out and reload. Simple as that, right? The supply shock that you've all been waiting for out of nowhere over a weekend. Okay, now that may have triggered a problem in legacy. So in legacy, using the derivatives market, it is actually an incredibly common strategy to own a stock like the Bitcoin ETF or own an instrument and then, short bullish instruments in the options market, which if the market doesn't go anywhere or it moves slowly higher, these things expire and you collect the money. It's almost like a way of earning 2% on your position, right? As long as it doesn't spike up. So over a weekend, all these big Bitcoin ETF players, right, because it started on Friday, got the memo that these little derivative instruments that they were short were rising rapidly. This leads to a phenomenon which you don't have to understand, but it's called a gamma squeeze. All that means is the higher it goes, the more they have to buy. So, at 119K Bitcoin, they had to buy 100 shares of the Bitcoin ETF. And by the time it got to 123K, they had to buy 500 shares of the Bitcoin ETF. Naturally, if you're sitting home and you're short and you're watching this happen, knowing that you can't do anything about it until Monday, as a sophisticated player, you're going to call somebody, buy some form of Bitcoin, and hope you can get it covered by the time Bitcoin opens on Monday. Now, did that make sense? Maybe. Let's try it again. There are people who were bullish, and I call it shortish or hedged. Those hedges or the short-ish part of their position got obviously blown out, which is why when it opened on Monday, everybody had it at 120. Everyone covered their shorts, and then it came off, which, by the way, is exactly the scenario we gave Patreon Platinum late last night and early this morning. Okay. Now, with that all said, Bitcoin has obviously become the rising tide that lifts all boats, right? We'll go over what's in Patreon in just a second. So all of a sudden, Bitcoin holders in the cryptoverse have got $10,000 to $15,000 per coin in profit that they can use somewhere else. Effectively, it's crypto Christmas. So that money can rotate into altcoins. Now, there's another theory. And you know what? With crypto week coming up, this could be very valid. There are also troubles in foreign countries like Japan with their bond market. Some sovereign could be us, right? Can you imagine the orange man kicking off crypto week? It's like, hey, you want to know who's been buying Bitcoin? It's us. It's not ridiculous. Some company, some government, some central bank, somebody FOMO'd in out of necessity. Like I said, the orange man could be a good candidate. You haven't heard a word from his kids about crypto, and this whole, I just call it law enforcement issue, is not going away. So they need an epic distraction. And even if it's not going in the sovereign wealth fund, 123 Bitcoin creates a different headline, right? So they can cover tariffs or they can cover the scandal. So now they're covering tariffs and Bitcoin, which leads me to my next point, that this may not be over, that you may whip around in a range. 120 may be support, and they may whip it and drive it back up again. We'll take a look at a special Gantt chart that actually got the high at 123. But as time goes by, they may be able to take it higher. Now, whether they can do that or not, whether Bitcoin is at 120, 124, 126, for altcoins, I don't know that it matters. Because again, notice what happened. Bitcoin came off. XRP was above $3. Everyone's like, and then as soon as Bitcoin comes off, the altcoins get smacked. Reflecting lingering bearishness or lingering, okay, I took my money for 5 days, now I'm exiting. That's been working. So you can't blame people for doing that. But is that the right trade headed into American Crypto Week? 1. 2, is it just time for altcoins? I mean, Nvidia's worth $3 trillion. Okay, Bitcoin's at 124. And why are altcoins as a whole worth less than $1 trillion? I mean, Solana really never went up. The only altcoin to me that looks like it's been up a lot was Syrup and Hyperliquid. Everything else is meh. Now, not mad, but I mean, there were a lot of, nice rallies, but you have to ask yourself about the overall value of altcoins after Bitcoin reset itself, regardless of the reason. Again, you want to stay tuned because we got 5 or 10 altcoins that we're going to go over that I pulled out of the Gantt model as an example of the things that we did for Patreon and for the YouTube member area, where I bring some of these picks to the podcast discussion, and Toby kind of weighs in on it with her special abilities, as well as AMA, as well as taking, live altcoin picks. So if you want to get involved, we're here for you, right? As I said last week, if you're not here, where are you? So come visit us. We got some charts. We're going to go through the whole thing. You're going to love it. So stay right here. Okay. Let's welcome who's here. Hal Lopez up in the middle of the night in Portugal. Indie Rock Crypto, right? I'm not Bruce or Cliff. Welcome. Oh, no, wait. That is not the right stream. Oh, my God. Okay. Give me 1 second. We are getting to the right stream. Okay. Is that the right stream? Yes. Hal Lopez, Thomas Chai, Duilo, Donato, welcome. Knox Bill, what's up? Live it. 1351. DNT Saver. Adiel. I'm not Bruce or Cliff. Forget about it. Wrong again. Free speech. Right? Deets. Patriot Caveman. Members. Joe Robbins. Oh my God. Alexandria in the middle of the night. Daniel J. from the Jersey Shore. Big Rich, a guy who really knows how to use those $4.99 emojis to get priority on comments. Tyler, a new member. JB, Yoppy, Chris, TC Crypto, Cisco, Swiss Seb, a member. Chris calling in from New Zealand, along with Wavy, Gradley, and Bradley up in the middle of the night in the UK. Strong. Okay, now let's go. News. Trying to monologue as much as I can. All right. One of the reasons why this move in Bitcoin is so bullish is because the orange man gets bolder and bolder and bolder with tariffs. You know, he had a taco out of, you know, tariffs the first time. That stands for Trump, always chickens out. Guess what? Stock market's up. Bitcoin's up. He's going to get bolder with the tariffs. What does that mean? Well, it means that normally tariff talk is bearish for Bitcoin. And somebody came in and market bought it at the high. So somebody needs it and someone's caught. Who needs it? Michael Saylor and Sovereigns. Who's caught? I don't know. Somebody is. And they may not have gotten everything back this morning. This is bearish, but it wasn't. So that is a very powerful statement. Okay, government bond markets in general are in trouble. The Japanese are in really bad shape, which is why Metaplanet, a Japanese company, is quietly looking to not only buy as much Bitcoin as they can, okay, but they're looking to buy other companies, right? They're looking to leverage that Bitcoin to buy other companies, and are undoubtedly going to leverage the new company as assets to buy more Bitcoin. And here we have Bloomberg forced to report it as Crypto Week kicks off. Somebody wanted a good start to Crypto Week. Somebody did, right? No way to get a better start to Crypto Week than to just moon it hard. I would not have guessed that. I mean, I knew they were going to I thought they were going to moon altcoins, but to watch Big Boy go straight up, I was like, wow. All right. Stablecoin bill, going to pass. Okay. And I think this says it the best. Bitcoin was in an absolute vacuum mode, meaning there was no seller, right? This goes back to a very important point. Where is the supply in crypto? Where's the supply? Did you see the move in Stellar? I mean, we'll chart it. Toby called Stellar out of all the ISO 2222 20022 coins. She picked Stellar and Hedera, and I was like, wow, Stellar, really? Like 40% up on a rope. You got to tune in for this, right? I mean, it's $50 a month. Guys are charging, 3 times that. It's unbelievable. The link is down below, and the Eagle King can flash the QR code. But I mean, who is the seller in Stellar? Nobody. And XRP managed to take out $3. And I'm gonna ask a very important question about a vacuum move. Why is XRP at below $3? Why is any of this stuff below its December all-time high? Why did the market go down for 6 months? Now, I know you've been hearing me ask these rhetorical questions, but, I'm pounding the table on this because, like I said, when you get these catalysts, I would not have said Bitcoin 120K. That was not necessarily on my bingo card. I mean, I was thinking 114, but, they did a little $10,000 just to make sure you understood, right? What happens when everybody goes, hold on a second, this is undervalued? That's the most important thing, right? I mean, are you telling me that no one wants decentralized finance? No one wants decentralized physical infrastructure? No one wants decentralized data management? Are you watching what centralized authorities are doing? The AI race, and, somebody's trying to get, they're all racing to see who gets total control of all of it. And you can see how well they're doing with sovereigns and banks having total control of everything, right? I mean, Kramer was on the tape saying he thinks Jamie Dimon is going to have to swallow his pride and get involved in crypto. Jamie Dimon's company most likely has a huge bet that there's a problem with treasury debt, and like all these cranky, crusty hedge fund types, they're realizing that they have the wrong trade on. They're betting the debt problem manifests itself in like a 2008 crash, and that's not happening. And I'm proud that I've been saying that. And Toby even wrote a book about it. Right? The crypto heads beat the hedge funds. And you can have an entertaining read if you want to know what the world in 2050 look like. There's no seller, and there's everyone waking up at the same time. I mean, if you're not long Bitcoin, guess what? And you're a treasury company or a hedge fund, you got to find something else to buy, most likely, unless it's just going to go to 250, which, you know, the Patreon Platinum area has a long-term Bitcoin price prediction, of which I will say nothing about what happens with Bitcoin from here out. Okay? Trust me, you would prefer a parabolic in altcoins. Okay? Many think it's driven by companies. Okay? The companies are not done buying, and some kind of nation state could be involved. MicroStrategy, okay? Hedge funds. So check this out. Hedge funds, what's their position? My understanding is they're short MicroStrategy, they're short Ethereum futures, and they just got done getting their absolute chinny chin chin ripped off on this move. They also happen to be short MicroStrategy. So explain this to me. Digital asset flows hit 3.7 billion. Yet hedge funds continue to short the market. Don't have the slide in front of me. Hedge funds are shorting Ethereum in the futures market with this type of flow coming in. Now, everybody is on all these Bitcoin critics like Peter Schiff, absolutely embarrassing themselves. Really, they're embarrassing themselves. Short Bitcoin if you hate money, says Michael Saylor. Here it is. Ether sees record short building up as hedge funds pile in on some complicated trade. Boy, you know, hedge funds haven't blown themselves up on complicated trades all year. I guess they need to come in for more. They need to come in for more. Okay, a little bit of live TA on the fly. Mixing news with TA. If you like that, feel free to comment down below. So here is a set of Gann fan lines. Okay, and you can see Bitcoin hitting some level of resistance here. So, you know, Bitcoin did something that I never thought I would see. It blew through the premium zone and effectively broke it and reset it. That's like, wow. Right? You're not going to see that. You're not going to see that very often. You're not. Now, on the subject of crypto week, this is kind of funny. The left says they must embrace crypto. The quest for the crypto bro vote is on. I guarantee you, nobody is going to care about intelligence services and lists, and no one's going to care if their bags are moving, right? If their bags are moving, no one's going to care. No one. Because again, that was supposedly the trade back in January. And now, thanks to A, their irresponsible behavior with fiscal policy, B, the current spat where we don't know if the Fed's independent or not, and B, the glaring undervaluation of altcoins is a recipe for an absolute explosion. An absolute explosion, right? Grayscale filing for an IPO. Let's talk about crypto equities, okay? After crypto week, after seeing what USDC did, the Ripple buyout is next or the Ripple IPO. I think some Silicon Valley player has got a FOMO into this. They're probably sitting around watching Bitcoin, and they're probably sitting around watching total crypto market cap at 3.6 trillion going, we better buy this before it goes to 10 trillion. I mean, not tomorrow, but big picture. We better get involved. And in the world of equities, there's this idea about pension funds. Pension funds control, last I looked at it, like 60 trillion worldwide. What is their allocation to Bitcoin? It's like 1 or 2%. What does it need to be? I don't know. I saw 7% last week. I've heard other people talking about 30%, right? It's unbelievable, the underinvestment in the equities community. What they could do with this, if they come in and do a 1 to 2% allocation, just to drive this point home, during the dot-com crash, on the way down, Fidelity adjusted its tech stock position by 2%. That resulted in a 20% decline in NASDAQ, which was already going down to begin with. Like when these guys come in, like you saw what happens if they get caught short. You saw what sovereigns can do if they want to do it. Michael Saylor's been buying for months. He really hasn't moved the price. Someone moved it. Somebody big moved it. Now back to crypto equities. You put crypto equities out there in an IPO, the street, as in TradFi, is going to eat it up. It's going to eat it up because they're underexposed. That's how come Circle basically 10x'd. Alt season was in stocks. The technology behind crypto, the technology behind real world assets, Avalanche, XRP, Stellar, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff that people think doesn't matter, it does. And of course, it says nothing about ETH and Solana. It's like, I don't even understand why everyone is sleeping on Solana with the DPIN and Stablecoin network. I guess you have to get memes going. I guess. Now, the two memes that we've got for the altcoin overtime that's coming up, okay, that you probably want to stick around for. Ironically, they're not Solana memes. Ironically, they're not Solana memes. But, you know, we can still help you out because, you know, a lot of that work is really, really, really interesting. Okay, let's see what else we got on the world of TA before we get into altcoin overtime. Looking for the screen share. Here we go. Don't forget to stay with us, by the way. We're getting close to our goal of 200 likes. So keep on hitting that like button. Keep on keeping on. And don't forget one administrative note. Well, let's do the TA before I do the administrative note. Okay, so here's Solana on a daily chart, right? Go up, make a new high, make a return move. Now, sometimes when you have a major bull market, going to a 4-hour chart, the dips are intraday. So there's nothing particularly exciting on the Solana intraday chart. But what you're doing is you're looking for people taking profits and the market not going down, right? So, okay, Solana went up. Now it could glide back to 158 maybe, or it could just hang out above 160. What you're looking for are dips that are shallow, like XRP, right? So here's your 13 top, here's your 9 top, gets above $3, then it comes back maybe to 275, maybe. But when you look at XRP, okay, here's your 9 top, you're going to get a pause. Today could be the pause, right? Especially if Bitcoin, you know, slips below 120 again. But if XRP does not go down, if XRP doesn't like make a real top, the next dip is the last dip before this thing turns around and goes up for 2 weeks. Because if you look at XRP on a weekly chart, there's absolutely nobody home up here. Like this is supposed to be the dip week. This is a XRP weekly, and there is nothing up here. Nothing. And I will tell you this much about altcoins. So undoubtedly, everyone's going to do the sell the fact thing, right? So Bitcoin went to 123. It's over. You know, you have some topping signals on ETH. And as I always say, if it doesn't go down or everyone does sell the fact and it doesn't go down, what's it going to do? It's going to go up. You could have 2 more big up days in ETH by the time this is over. Now, why would that even happen? Especially with Bitcoin, you know, at the resistance point that we talked about, because it's undervalued. It's suppressed, right? Even to sense Bitcoin was sitting around and nobody thought it was a big deal, including me, right? I mean, it was like, okay, yeah, it was going to 114. All right, yeah, the major move is in altcoins. Okay, well, guess not. Guess not, right? Right. If we're looking at XRP again, say on LuxAlgo. Okay, so the daily premium zone, the top of it is 312. So you can make an argument that it stops at 312. You could also make an argument like Bitcoin that it blows to this Fibonacci level at 331. Like, can you believe an American-made crypto has not yet made a new high? Like, it feels like everything's going to make a new high. There's support underneath the market in Sui. Hedge funds are most likely underinvested, and they're going to be after this thing on any and every dip. Okay, let's go to our list of stuff that we like. Stuff that, you know, it's like, all right, because everyone's like, well, when am I getting a dip? The dip was the last 6 months. Now, the dip is also probably today when Bitcoin comes off after all the short covering. So we have TAO. LuxAlgo signaled 3 days ago at the bottom of some sort of accumulation, upward sloping triangle. You got a lot of room up here to 505. And they're giving you the dip today. Like, everything was all euphoric this morning, and now it's coming off and everyone's chilling out. Okay, believe it or not, like if you look at virtuals never even got above resistance. The AI trade never broke out. That to me is very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, in many ways, like I said, this is the perpetual contract. This is the LuxAlgo buy signal from 2 days ago. Now, if you want to have a laugh in meme coins, you want to do meme coins? Let's have a laugh. What about Doge? It's hard to believe that Elon is going to let the crypto bro vote get away from him. Like in a 3-way race, they got to have the crypto bro vote. They have to, right? They have to have it psychologically. They have to have it politically. So Doge broke out of a downward sloping wedge, right? That's suppression, to keep it simple. And then this thing could turn around, and what happens if it breaks 24 cents? This is, in a way, what we're seeing across altcoins. If you broke out above 24 cents, you could trigger 37. And again, why is all this stuff down again? Because, you know, Elon is going to buy this, or he's going to make a comment about it. He has to. If he's in politics now. No, Pepe. Okay, Pepe, you're going to laugh, right? It's a leveraged ETH. And one of the things about Crypto Week is that if private companies make an announcement that they're going to start using Ethereum for real world assets or stable coins or whatever, you know, you have this trend line that they're all afraid of here. I've said this all week. What happens when they're not afraid of resistance? Like everyone's like, I missed it. You're like, what have you missed? Nothing. No, absolutely nothing. Okay. Sky, which is Maker, or what used to be Maker. Okay. I've got the wrong contract here. Sky, Uniswap, and Maker. I cannot get the Gann model off. Like, it just keeps telling me and telling me and telling me about these ETH-based DeFi projects. And Sky, if you look at this, right, for our altcoin overtime. So again, if you like altcoin overtime, this is what we do in Patreon and the Patreon store and in the YouTube member area all day long. I'll give you the Patreon tour when we get done with this. Actually, what I'll do is I'll give you the Patreon tour now before we go through the rest of the altcoins. I definitely want to make sure I got your attention on this, right? Because if you think about what we've been doing to get people ready, like that is the crux of our life, right? Is to get people ready. So everyone's like, oh my God, what do I do? Dude, we have been on this for months, literally. Okay. So here is Patreon, right? You go to collections, platinum research. As you can see, we've been busy. They have a day trading plan after last night. We have long-term price predictions. Okay. The middle tier got Solana and XRP, and the Bitcoin one was shocking. So that was platinum. And you've got all of this altcoin research. Okay. All of it. The 6th Street crypto guys, the middle tier, they get like a podcast from me. And I've been giving them, because I've got multiple kinds of Gann model work, right? So here's like Crypto Week preview for altcoins that we really like. This was a YouTube video where I had 21 coins and then they narrowed it down to 4. And oh, look, one of them was Sui, which goes up 10% every day. Now, if you happen to be allergic to monthly memberships, I am doing a 1 week only sale for our altcoin research. This goes from the Solana 7 to the long-term price predictions to AI and DPIN. Okay. Now, obviously, at $37 a piece, you're better off paying $88 to join Platinum. But if you're allergic to monthly costs, we have everything you need as a Crypto Week 1 week only special. If you want to know what to do now, we're helping you. And tomorrow we're going to do the YouTube member podcast. So we have preferred medium. Now, Sky, we have this at the apex of the trend line. And as you can see, nothing has happened here. Nothing. Right? I mean, you have Stellar. Okay. You have Stellar headed for the top of like an alligator mouth formation with LuxAlgo putting support underneath it. So even after all this upside, if Stellar doesn't go down, it's got more upside. The dip, I mean, look, it's either a top, it's either sell the fact, or if it just goes sideways, you could have 5 more days of this. Or you could have some of these altcoins catch up. Like somebody was asking me about Zebec. I think Grandpa Keeter was asking me about Zebec the other day. So you break down, you come back, looks negative, right? Yeah, except the Gann model picked it out as special coins for you for today. I mean, what happens if that gets back inside that alligator mouth formation? And again, everyone's trying to tell me that they've missed everything, that, you know, you haven't missed anything, bro. Look at this. I can't get the Gann model off this coin Pyth, right? Because it has kind of like a technology angle. All coins are still dead. And I had a slide, couldn't find it, that said retail participation is not here. Retail has gone absolutely nowhere near this as institutions pile in. You seriously, like, here we go. Like, I'm not making this up. Bitcoin retail interest almost nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Like, the XRP army is a little excited. Everyone's assuming Bitcoin's too expensive. Retail's not interested. Retail is more interested in NVIDIA. Now, I ask you a very simple question. What has to happen for retail to get involved? Well, it's probably marquee coins like XRP, Solana, and Ethereum. And it probably takes Ethereum at 4,000. Now, is that going to happen now? I have an Ethereum price prediction, a long-term price prediction, which I'm going to release to the 6th Street Crypto and Platinum areas soon. I didn't want to send them too much email in the beginning. But what does it take? What does it take? Well, I can tell you what it takes. It takes a rampaging altcoin rally. That's what it takes. And I don't see why that wouldn't occur for the sole reason that people are not invested. They're all invested in equities over here. Everyone's in this pool, and they're over here, and this pool is empty. They're gonna get out of the pool one at a time. And I don't know, at this point, you can't discount Bitcoin doing something crazy, especially if there's an announcement over crypto week. I mean, if the orange man steps up to the podium and says, I want people doing this, I want people involved, I want to be #1 in crypto, and we're going to do fill in the blank. Now, hopefully, given the optics that they're going through now, they have something real. But like I said, retail participation was very high because when Uncle Sugar and the administration was kind of putting their stamp on crypto, it made it easier for people to believe in it. Now, of course, they all bought the top and they all got smoked, and none of them want to come back. But if the Gann model is picking Doge and Pepe, how hard is this going to be for retail? Bonk is on the move. I mean, these are like, common sense meme coins. Bitcoin Cash led the rally. XRP is all over YouTube, right? XRP is all over YouTube. Like, you Google XRP or Ripple, there's the CEO looking real good in front of the Senate or on Bloomberg. Normies will go, oh, I understand that. Oh, it's only $3? Oh, cool. I can get a bunch of that. Now, of course, the market cap situation is different, but ask yourself, normies are not in. Certain kind of corporations are not in. Like there is a list of Bitcoin treasury companies. Okay. Here it is. Thanks to the Eagle King, we have a huge list of the Bitcoin treasury companies. There's 60 of them. So these are the imitators. Michael Saylor was the innovator. These are the imitators, and there's only 60. What happens when everybody in the S&P 500 has to have a blockchain strategy? You do realize that earnings for all these companies are coming out like in 2 weeks. Like the second quarter earnings in July are going to start coming out. And what's going to happen when they go to a press conference? Well, the CFOs are all going to get asked, do you have a Bitcoin, a blockchain, or a crypto strategy? Do you? Well, the answer to that is no, because I just got caught with I just got caught like, oh my God. So Free Speech is asking, is ZBCN still a good project? Okay, just being careful. Just going on charts and Gann model that focuses on TA and other planetary movement type stuff. Do your own research on everything, right? Stuff that's established like virtuals and things like that. Okay. But remember what happened to OM. And by the way, one of the coins that the Gann model and Toby keeps picking is OM. I'm like, oh my God, I can't tell people to go back into that. But if the machine and Toby still like OM, there's got to be a real world asset play in here somewhere. Okay. Crypto Rico from the great state of Oklahoma. Okay. Greatest is asking, Where do you see XRP in this rally? Okay, that's a great question. Okay, and I'm going to give you the answer. First of all, XRP is cheap below $5. It's cheap. They have a alliance with Bank of America. They've got Garlinghouse testifying in front of the Senate, and the banks are behind the curve. You know, the banks are required with this ISO 20022 directive to start using some digital assets to make payments faster and cheaper. I mean, that's essentially what XRP does. And obviously somebody's talking about building infrastructure on top of Stellar. I don't know that it's in the news, but clearly somebody knows something, right? Somebody knows something, right? So XRP below $5 is cheap. CryptoPath says, become a Spartan, support Bill. Yes, right? If you read our research, we add a ton of value, but you also support the channel, which we appreciate. All right, more XRP. It seems like it's kind of like, you know, can't get enough of XRP. So I'd be happy to indulge. So this is from a long-term price prediction for XRP from a long time ago. There's $3.31. There's $4 or $3.70. And then you know what there is? The outer realm, right? So once XRP starts going through $4, it's escape velocity. Now, look, I understand on YouTube, you can go far by catering to the XRP crowd because, you know, they're all over YouTube and they're really excited. But one of the reasons the XRP community has come to visit me is because they have a value proposition as, you know, like the Dallas Cowboys a long time ago when I was young, they got the nickname America's team. XRP is America's crypto. It is. I mean, why do you think Garlinghouse was testifying in front of the Senate and not the guy from Cardano, who, by the way, was bearish and decided to buy Bitcoin for his company's treasury? The Ethereum Foundation was selling ETH over the counter. They're all bearish their own coins, which to me is absurdly bullish. Look at this. Look at Toby Ward just making everybody look like an idiot. Here's OM. I didn't even realize this, up 11% today. Now, this also is very important. Frequently, when you have the start of a bull move, the junk rallies first. And of course, no one will touch this because of the scandal or the problems or whatever. And it looks like this is an 89-minute chart. If you go to a 4-hour chart, this is an accumulation cone. They may be after this thing. Or there's a real-world asset play going on out there. These guys originally made their name in tokenized treasuries before they had some kind of problem. Now, you can do this if you're brave. I know guys into Patreon like Big Rich hoovered this stuff up at the low when it was at 19 cents. You've missed nothing. You know, this should have been the title of the stream. Like I did 10 altcoins. You have missed nothing. Nothing. Like, you know, I mean, there are YouTubers out there today like, oh, top 10 coins. Let's go. Alt season. Yeah, of course. Right? Because, you know, this is old school. 2017, you put $10,000 a coin profit inside the Bitcoin crypto universe, thanks to short squeezes in the legacy Ninnyville. They got money. They got room. So all you need is a catalyst. And it may not be sovereign action, although sovereigns are probably panicking and buying Bitcoin, or Metaplanet is, because they see what's going on with the Japanese government, you know, some kind of like second order effect. Eventually somebody comes in and makes an announcement, right? It's the private sector. It's BlackRock. I mean, personally, I think BlackRock would be out of its mind. BlackRock would be out of its mind if it did not make an announcement or have a string of announcements start with Crypto Week, right? Especially in a thin holiday market. Like if you wanted to move all this, you would do it in July. You would do it in August. If you wanted to push it because everyone's underinvested, what do you think hedge funds do? They push it. Now, the bad guy in this book pushed it so far that the 3 hackers, including, some like legit non-woke female heroes, had to come in and kick butt, right? So tired of hedge funds. So sick of these crusty guys. They're underinvested. They're caught. Tired of it. So if you want to be entertained and know about 2050, the path seems clear. It seems very clear to me. Very clear. Now, if you're interested, when we do reports, this is what they look like, right? We do TAO, why the Gann model likes it. We have, like I said, we have TAO, Pyth, Virtual, OM, Monero. I forgot about Monero. Silly me, right? Wormhole, Doge, right? That's how we do reports. So instead of you having to watch a million videos, because we know there's a lot of videos, right? I do live streams. And by the way, speaking of live streams, we got a new thing. It's essentially required by YouTube, right? So YouTube on high has stated, we are not moving your channel. We are not moving your channel without live YouTube shorts. Okay? What did I do? We are not moving your channel without short live streams from the shorts feed. It is not optional for me. So for you, seriously, you have to subscribe to the channel, right? There's no way to send out a link on these things beforehand. Like I can send out a tweet that says I'm live in an hour on the shorts feed. How many people get that? I don't know. But the way these things go is I got 15 to 30 minutes to do a monologue. And if you want to get on that, because that's got to happen at least 2 days a week, I may have to do it more. I may have to start in the morning with that and then market update later. So seriously, subscribe to the channel because, like I'm dropping a lot of alpha in those things, even though it's a challenge to do the 30-minute monologue. But I'm dropping alpha in those things and I got to do it rapid fire. So if you're one of these people that, likes the show and likes me, but likes the 30-minute quick, like a quickie, that's the stuff. And that's not going anywhere. That's got to keep getting bigger. So subscribe to the channel. Okay, people, that's all I got for today. This is the market update. Subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.